So I've started recording myself talking, not just because I want to change people's minds, but because I genuinely think it helps me understand things further. Just talking through things and playing things out in your head, even, in your head isn't the same as out loud. And, if you want to get better at speaking and talking to people, then you have to talk. Simple as that, practice. So I'm talking here to get better at speaking and to understand the world a little more better around me. So here's something that I just saw online that I want to dive into. I saw a sleep expert claim that the amount of people that can survive on 6 hours of sleep or less and show no signs of impairment, rounded to a whole number and expressed as a percent of the population, is zero, which could potentially mean there is, a time, it could be 0.04% of the population could survive on 6 hours of sleep and show no impairment. That still would be some people, but generally the answer is you should sleep more than 6 hours. But let's say there are people, I've met a lot of people who swear by their, or I don't know about swear by, but they claim that they get consistently 6 hours, 4 hours of sleep. I think we've all met someone like that, maybe in high school or whatever, but we can't know if these people are truthful, but is it possible that a human could sleep for 4 or 6 hours and not suffer any consequences? Like maybe a genetic mutation where, I'm just purely brainstorming right now. Maybe a genetic mutation makes your body not want to sleep as much. So if you do sleep more, it genuinely just has negative effects. But even, let's say they could sleep more without having negative effects, it would be better for them. But somehow their body has found an equilibrium at 4 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep. And I am a huge sleep guy. I sleep more than 8 hours often. I'll sleep 12 hours, 13 hours if I can. Not every day, that would add up and make me start feeling bad. But, every once in a while you need a catch-up day. You you stay up a lot of nights, you hang out with people a lot of nights, and you need to catch up. You get a lot of sleep. And so all that to say, I recognize the power of sleep. And I know it's a big thing. I am not one of these people who can sleep 4 hours or 6 hours and feel the same. I am genuinely not one of those people. But if there are people like that, imagine what we could learn from them if we could somehow sleep 4 hours and suffer no consequences. The amount of free time we would add to our lives in the end, it would be just incredible. Like, you think of life as 80 years, but you're asleep for a third of that. You're eating for a third of that, or not a third. You're eating for a lot of that. You're sleeping for a lot of that. You're going to the bathroom. You're driving. You're doing things that you can't really fully control. So when you break it down, when you break down your life into how much free time it actually is, life is short. And I think that's kind of where the phrase "life is short" comes from. People see a lot of meaning in that phrase because it has meaning. Think about when was the last time you really felt alive. It probably wasn't at work or sleeping or eating. It was doing other things, doing the things that life doesn't force you to do. So, got a little sidetracked here. Let me try and get back to where I was. So let's say these people can live on 4 hours of sleep, and it is best for them, right? Genuinely, if they slept 8 hours, somehow their body would reject that or it wouldn't get REM sleep. Somehow these people their bodies don't benefit from sleeping 8 hours or more. And so these people are sleeping 4 to 6 hours or whatever. Let's assume that. They probably are suffering negative consequences because they can't sleep 8 hours. But they truly cannot sleep 8 hours or they would feel worse somehow. So it's not, it would be best for them to sleep 8 hours or more without, if their body wouldn't suffer from that or if they wouldn't feel worse from that. So really in the end, you don't want to sleep 4 to 6 hours. I mean, you could potentially, and it would be the best thing for you, but I would imagine you would suffer negative consequences compared to if you could sleep 8 hours or more. I mean, sleep is just so needed. I mean, you can die of staying awake for 5 days straight. I mean, we need a lot of things. We need food, water, socialness, shelter, and we need sleep Simple as that. So, I mean, some people, myself included, have thought, what if I could sleep 4 hours a night? Maybe I could just get used to it and I would live like that and it would be perfect. I don't think that would be beneficial. I mean, you don't want to oversleep, you don't want to undersleep, but yeah, I definitely oversleep sometimes too, and I shouldn't be doing that. But I think oversleeping is less of a hindrance on my life than undersleeping for sure. And that also is just a result of having a lot of free time as well. If I had to work 9 hours a day and keep doing all the rest of the things in my life, I wouldn't have as much time to sleep. So that's a luxury, and I'm thankful for that. And I recognize that sleep is it's a luxury, and I'm thankful for that. Sometimes we think about the negatives in life so much, and we don't think about the positives. It's not fair to yourself to think about the negatives and not think about the positives. Like, yeah, it would suck if I only slept 4 hours a night, but it would be cool too. And right now, I'm so thankful that I get to sleep all this time. Today, I slept for like 12 hours, caught up from the last 3 nights. I was hanging out with friends late. I don't know. It could have been more. I went to bed. I took a little nap last night at like 10:30. I could barely stay awake. Then woke up at midnight, went back to bed, and slept till like 1. Holy, that's a lot of sleep. And it felt amazing. And again, I should recognize I'm very thankful for that. That was amazing. I feel great. I feel so well rested right now. And, I think it can sound cringe almost or boring to recognize the good in life, but you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the world to have that balance. If you are going to think about the negative, you should think about the positive. If you're going to think about worst case scenario, you should think about best case scenario. And I think I've talked about that before in my last video, but I never truly understood that until recently, a few years ago, or maybe it was like 1 year ago, less than a year ago, and that has been huge for me. Like, I would spend a lot of time thinking about negatives and, why would I hype myself up for no reason? But I don't know about hype yourself up. I wouldn't call it that, but just recognize I am thankful for the fact that I could sleep in. I'm thankful for the fact that I had, 13 hours to spare in the last day that I could spend sleeping and catching up to the sleep that I missed out on. So be grateful for things, show some gratitude. I promise you it'll feel good. When you balance your life, things have a way of getting better. Good things compound. The more good things you do every day, the more they will affect you, the more you'll see your life get better. And that's something I've learned also in the last year. So I feel like I need to share these things, talk about them. I feel like I need to share these things and talk about them, not for other people only, but because I reinforce these ideas in my own brain so much better. And often there are things that I don't fully understand, and then I start talking out loud about them. And I go, oh, okay, like when you're editing your school paper and, you read the whole thing and it seems fine, then you read it out loud for the class and you're like, whoa, that was a mistake. Or, you read it out loud, or your parents read it out loud to you to edit it, and you go, oh, that's different. Like, it's just a different avenue of, if you're going to read something, with no sound, you're not going to read it out loud versus reading it out loud. Those are simply different activities, and you'll notice different things doing different activities. And, life seems like it can't always be as simple as that, but a lot of times when you simplify life, you can see patterns and consistent ideologies that you can share and spread to other things, and you don't want to do that too much and assume things, but there's a lot of consistency and uniformity to life if you look for it. So again, I'm kind of just ranting a lot of these videos, just kind of talking to myself, but I genuinely think that I will grow, I will learn more about myself, the world, other people, by talking to myself, talking to people, and I hope that other people can learn from this too and say, all right, well, is this guy being truthful right now? Is he using ego? Is he just trying to gain a following online? I don't think that's what I'm doing. It could be what I'm doing. I could be unconsciously doing that. We don't know. It's like, always consider the possibilities, even with yourself. Like, I could be just trying to get rich and famous super easily, and I think this is the best way. That could be a part of it. But also, I genuinely think that talking to myself like this, talking is teaching me things about the world, is helping me understand the world better. It's like organizing my thoughts in a way, like just literally just organizing my brain. It's almost like you clean your room. I'm cleaning my brain right now. I'm talking about it. I'm trying to understand things better. Trying to understand that I'm not right about everything, even when you think you're right about something, like 2 + 2 = 4. It's only hypothetical. Like in reality, when you have two things, they're not going to be perfectly equal down to the atomic particles, right? One of them is going to have a couple more atoms or electrons than the other one. So in reality, it's going to be 2.0001 plus 2.0002, and it's not 2 + 2 perfectly. It's not going to equal 4 because they're not 2 + 2 perfectly. Anyway, life is nothing is 100%. Not a single thing in life is 100%. Or leave me a comment and tell me something that is 100%. And you can prove me wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe there are some things that are 100%, but maybe it is 100% that nothing is 100%. I don't know. But I'm open to the possibilities. And when you're open to the possibilities of anything, I think you're the most scientific and you're the most safe about knowledge. You're the most safe about these things could exist, so there's no reason to write them off. And like I said, good things like that tend to compound. So I am personally trying to find the compounding effects of good and wholesome enjoyment of life and people. And I hope I can help other people see the world like I have. In the last few years, I've not been happy. I've not been as happy as I am now, that's for sure. And I want to help other people get to where I am. And, if you have to ask me questions in the comments or watch me, whatever, do it. Do it. You can, and here's another thing I've been thinking about. I want people to comment exactly what they're thinking. If they're thinking hateful, horrible things, you're an ass, you're this arrogant, blah, blah, blah. I want them to tell me that, because that could tell me something. Even though they're just angry, it could tell me maybe I am being a little arrogant. Maybe I do think I know too much, and I think that the world has a way of showing you things like that, even if it's through hate and you don't want to listen. Like, leave me a hate comment, please. I want to know. What are you thinking? Because even if you're trying to leave a hate comment, you're trying to find something hateful, your brain will maybe find something that is a little wrong with me, right? Like, I'm not perfect. Nothing's 100%. I'm not perfect. There are things that I've done wrong in this video. I've talked incorrectly. I've maybe got an idea wrong, or I've assumed something that I shouldn't have assumed, so it left a door open to something I could be wrong about. I want to know. I want people to leave me hate comments. I want them to leave me good comments. I want them to tell me how they actually think, and that I want the world to be more authentic. I don't care if people are offended, upset, hurt. I want authenticity. I want the real fucking world, baby. I want it to be real, all right? If you don't want it to be real, you want to get offended at stuff, that's your decision. But me, I am going to learn as best as I can, and I'm going to understand that nothing is personal. Nothing is for the purpose of offending anyone. Like, nature doesn't do that. Nature doesn't offend people by choice. That is a choice that people make, to be offended. You're choosing to be upset, and I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to learn. So if you want to choose to be offended, I guess you have every right to do so, but don't force other people to choose to be offended too. I mean, I guess you can't really force anyone to choose to be offended, but yeah, that's kind of, like I said, I'm just doing a lot of ranting and talking right now and just kind of trying to understand myself and the world better. So, like I said, also leave me some comments. Am I talking too much? Am I talking too hypothetically? Do I sound like a crazy person? I want to know your genuine thoughts. Leave me some hate. Leave me some love. Do whatever. Do what you want to do. Be authentic.